Benitez far side. It's going to be tough to make that pass in this wind here tonight. Mulholland applies the pressure. Michel. Luccin. Ahead to Acosta, back to Luccin. Applies the pressure. Michel. Luccin. Ahead to Acosta, back to Luccin. Luccin. Ahead to Acosta, back to Luccin. Tried to get a touch to it, couldn't. Grabavoy will track it back down for RSL. Now Mulholland. Luccin tried to get that one broken up, couldn't do it. Morales back on Beckerman that time, and Michel has it. Now wide to Benitez. Acosta with a lot of green in front of it, across the halfway line. Luccin now, Frenchman. Pirouettes back and plays it, rolls it across to Michel. Now out wide for Benitez. National team, World Cup appearance, all-star captaincy. It's been a terrific year. And you don't usually see it this late in a player's career, but Beckerman's hard work for all these years has really been rewarded. Tickets today. The West is absolutely, it seems like we say it every year, Kevin. Competitive, deep, the whole thing, but this year, especially in the top 5 positions, really.
Real Salt Lake does such a wonderful job in terms of making the field compact. They're defending within 30 yards of one another, one direction or the other, and it makes it really compact and difficult to play through.
Right to Hedges' foot, but he couldn't get it past the defender. Great opportunity missed. Big bodies forward for RSL. Right-footed in swinger, couldn't beat the first man. Luccin set it out. Throw in to be taken quickly. Morales, 20 yards out, bending it in back post. And cleared by Escobar. Here's where Dallas is dangerous, but Mulholland kills the counter.
Attacking players gaining confidence, such a huge portion of their game. Bobby Finley getting a wonderful opportunity there from a ball that really just fell to him. And Raul Fernandez has no opportunities.
Always like to see if you can weather the next 5 minutes if you're the team that scores the goal. Oftentimes teams come back with a little momentum to try and counter. See what Dallas has here.
And trying to defend in more advanced positions. I just felt that they were so recessed in that first 30 minutes that it ended up costing them. You know, they weren't able to get pressure on the ball. Too much uncontested service into the box. Those players that really, you know, he's not going to give up an inch. He's really willing to fight for everything, and he feeds off of the energy of the midfield.
Well, and he's had a real resurgence the last couple of years that puts in the dirty work. And he's that guy that you got to have on your team because he just gives you a little bit of everything. Doesn't do anything great, just does everything pretty well for you.
I always feel like he really kind of plays up to the level of the midfield. And when you have guys...
Anything great, just does everything pretty well for you.
I always feel like he really kind of plays up to the level of the midfield. And when you have guys like Javi Morales and Kyle Beckerman around you, it's certainly a group that you can really...
The way it stands for the playoffs, if you're in the 3rd position, you're at least in that 2-game aggregate series, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the way that the playoffs are laid out really is certainly advantageous to grab one of those 3 spots. That effort.
Here's Morales crossing through. Garcia lining that thing up, couldn't get to it. Well defended that time. Luccin fouled there by Grabavoy.
Anything. Face maybe.
Worst collision you ever had. With who? Do you remember? Give that some thought. We'll get back to it. Garcia knocks it ahead.
Garcia perhaps collided heads.
Luccin over the top for Castillo. Again, well read by Schuler.
First real touch tonight. Back to Ship. Looking for Earnshaw on the turn. Luccin. Now Earnshaw. Ahead Alex. Alex in the ever-popular pink boots, which are really all the rage these days. Palmer sending it in. Luccin gets back. Sends it out of play. Is there. He has Acosta overlapping. Watson came a long way for that pass. Akindelli to Watson again, and it looks like Watson and Acosta at least temporarily swap spots, which they are quite interchangeable. Now Lloyd. David to the Jets, trying to get around to his right foot, cannot. Luccin plays it one more time, or at least faked it, and then had a go at things from 25 yards, and good velocity, not great precision with which to damage, I suppose. But a pretty good night from him ends in the 74th minute. There's Luccin, composed on the ball, as he mentioned, probably because so many years in Europe. But a pretty good night from him ends in the 74th minute. There's Luccin, composed on the ball, as he mentioned, probably because so many years in Europe at PSG, Atletico Madrid. There's Luccin, composed on the ball, as he mentioned, probably because so many years in Europe at PSG, Atletico Madrid, and came over to Dallas in 2013, but spent most of the year hurt. 1-2. Akindelli gets around, but a nice job by Samari to clean that up. Akindelli trying to pull it around to the left foot to have a go at things, is unable to do so. Now out to the flank. Both sides have one substitution remaining.
You're starting to see the real identity of both these soccer clubs right now. FC Dallas just sitting back for large parts of the second half. Now all of a sudden they smell that.
Just very little national buzz, and I suppose some of the more pleasant surprises in sports are when a team just rises up when you don't expect hardly anything out of them, and that's kind of what's happened in Dallas so far. But that end line, he might want to stay there to remain offside, or onside, I should say, stay out of bounds. And he doesn't look quite right in his game. Here comes Acosta on the other side, though. Benitez returns back to his left back spot, and looks like he can continue. Luccin on the ball as he was looking for some options, and nobody was really moving ahead of him, so he played it back. Here he is again. Now plays it ahead to Texera. Sent back to Watson. Tried to.
Chicago sitting way too deep, inviting pressure. Should be boxing up FC Dallas. There's a throw into Dallas. Chicago sitting really deep now and inviting pressure. Not a good sign.
Acosta attempts to play it right down the. Now Yoa sends it in. Akindelli to Luccin. Blocked again. Samari must have 10 blocks tonight. Now Watson to Acosta. Time is short for Dallas. Bonding takes out Acosta. Luccin ahead to Akindelli, but he does not get the geometry right, and Samari.
By Javon Watson, held up by Akindelli. The juggling skill on Beckerman. Show Akindelli oozing off from the crowd. Joao Plata was slow to get up behind the play after that. Luccin now
comes straight off his back and goes into the net. And now Salt Lake are going to really be pushing the pressure the last couple minutes.
Yeah, but Akindelli there, who got that touch. As it stands, Olmes Garcia's third goal there, who got that touch. As it stands, Olmes Garcia's third goal of the season, and it's given Real Salt Lake life at least for the last 90 seconds or so. Is Hollingshead. He's got Peter Luccin charging through the center. Peter Luccin there. He's got Peter. Hollingshead. His head. He's got Peter Luccin charging through the center. Peter Luccin, an opportunity to seal it.
For the US, he's a nice little player.
Costa will drop back and play that back line, right back spot. He could play midfield as well. Peter Luccin, who has come on as a substitute. Blas Perez. The Earthquakes return to Buckshaw Stadium on Saturday, August 30th to take on RSL. Kickoff set for 7:30 and presented by the City of San Jose. Limited tickets remain at sjearthquakes.com.
And really, they've been chasing the game ever since the Earthquakes.
Perez Garcia playing more on the outside here in the second half. Cuts in onto his left foot. Like he drilled Michel just above the shoulders. And here's Luccin. He's got Blas Perez in front of him, and Escobar trying to join the rush. Luccin, the Frenchman, over the head. There's the Frenchman, 36 years old. He's played in France and Spain, former under-20 player for France. Give and go. Luccin. A foot across, but Victor Bernardes is there.
Inside to Luccin. And now Michel forward. Leveron is chasing back and defends against Akindele.
FC Dallas have shifted their tactical formation. It's almost a 4-4-1-1 now as the Whitecaps look to exploit on the counter.
Morales after a good win by Kofi. Now it's Mane forward for Pedro Morales up against Kiel. Morales, what a wonderful save. Kindeli. Now Diaz. Back to the path of Diaz. And then he can't get past Johnny Leveron, who strides away. Now picked up by Darren Mattock. Kofi. Out by Luccin. Hollingshead battling with Harvey. Hollingshead comes away with it here. Ryan Hollingshead back for Diaz. Lets it run all the way through. Luccin with a shot straight at Osted.
Received possession. He immediately got back into a supporting position. Higuain bends a ball into the box. That's deflected away. Little contact enough? Yes. Foul against the Crew.
Kevon George was called back up from Dayton.
Clears the table, and there goes Escobar again.
That's why you got to have a guy like Hedges in there. Captain's armband, big size, smart for such a young player defensively.
Space on the right side.
Carson in the overlap and not able to connect.
We alluded to it. We're going to see it momentarily. Ray is going to check in for the Crew. Johnny, hard, good use of the body. Referee started to make the for FC Dallas on the right side, 82nd minute. Luccin on the ball. Into the center of the defense. Not quite the touch Barson was looking for. Reached across his body.
Having to adjust a bit for game day today. And putting in a good showing as a group.
90th minute. Preliminary indication.
Or tactical errors or technical mistakes. Either from a defensive standpoint, you've played so well up till now, and maybe forcing your opponent to make a mistake becomes a part of the game plan if you haven't already, and I don't think either team has really forced the opponent to do that.
Dicey ball played in. Clark gets a touch, then gets hammered after parrying.
Big boot across there from Marvell Wynn. Luccin, Frenchman, highly experienced, played for Bordeaux and Marseille in the French league. Didn't play. The ball does eventually behave itself for Castillo. Luccin came on at half-time last week for Blas Perez. It was another game, though, where Oscar Pareja was forced to make do with that. Approaching the half-hour mark at Toyota Stadium. FC Dallas 0, Colorado Rapids 1. Deshaun Brown with the goal. We all remember the game here last season is going to be ingrained in the mind of Stu Sayus for the rest of his soccer career and beyond. Castillo looking for the return from Perez. A chance! Just seemed to open up, almost invite that one from the referee by jumping out of the way, but the Rapids players seemed entitled to go for the ball. We've seen that expression a few times. Perez, Castillo. As jerseys up. Daly.
Point to try and tie this game up.
Akindele cleared out nicely. There's a look at Luccin, the 35-year-old from France. And Benitez racing for that end line. And that one will go out for a throw. Hedges. Luccin. Watson and Stewart will race for that one.
It's actually decent play by Yannick because he noticed the numbers weren't right. Benitez seems to be the danger man on number 5 on the left-hand side for FC Dallas. He's been charged with getting forward on the left-hand side. He's been very effective so far on his first. Certainly don't let it bounce.
Lloyd with a high arcing delivery.
Well done, Lennart.
Can he get there? There's a header on. Chested nicely by Jordan Stewart.
We'll have to talk to him about that, but I'm not sure Shea Salinas ever recovered from the little knock he got in the first couple of minutes of this game. He hasn't seemed to be as bright as he usually is, and good opportunity for Cordell Cato to come down and use his speed against the extra man they have against FC Dallas. There's definitely space out there for guys with speed.
Ball played over the top. Castillo racing for it. He'll set up shop against Harden. This one will get back to Zimmerman. Once again looking over the top, but Harden was there. Akindele. And San Jose stuff of Benitez. No, off of Atiba Harris. FC Dallas has had a history, at least this year, of getting those second half goals. And late second half tallies. Here comes Castillo. He's got Benitez, but too far. And Benitez trying to reach out for that one with this into the 80th minute now. And it seems like when these two teams play, it goes down to the wire. Benitez has been taking these. Couple of fakes. Luccin completely missed that one and drew an interesting look from Jair Benitez, who looked right. Atiba Harris sneaking forward. Yanni Jallo. There's a Atiba. And he tapped it right to Yannick, who's still suffering.
And Yannick saying, give it to my feet. You know, he's not going to chase the ball at this point of the game.
And that's a foul at the edge of the 18 on Brandon Barklage.
MC just behind Barrett and Martins, and so it'll be interesting to see it. They just got to make sure that they keep that shape right, that they don't get themselves stuck in a little bit of position where FC Dallas will be able to get that freedom out wide. I don't think FC Dallas is going to push the numbers forward like Portland did the other day. You know, they have the 2-1 lead, and Benitez hasn't gone forward very often.
And so can Kofi Sarkozy. Castillo has drawn two, including Jermaine Taylor. Tried to bring in Luccin, but Luccin not going to get there. We'll go back into midfield. Loa coming off the bench for FC Dallas. Warren Creval now on a good note for the Dynamo, getting his first minutes this year. Warren Creval was outstanding last year. So these are important minutes to get Creval back into the mix. Had some off-season cleansing of his knees.
Brings back a little healthy within the team competition for places.
Luccin. This is Zach Lloyd. He's got huge space. Blas Perez coming in there. Corey Ash clearing that. The Dynamo don't want to give any more goals up here.
Much with those. He hasn't gotten matched for pace with Will Bruin or Giles Barnes very much. And again, with the guys he's got in front of him and the amount of attacking chances that FC Dallas creates, the amount of time they have the ball, it just needs to be sharp and organized. He's done a good job.
Boy, when you think about his partnership, if George John comes back, it could be a pretty formidable pairing. Oscar Pereira even talking about head.
Luccin, a long career in Europe. Atletico Madrid in Spain, Marseille and PSG among clubs he played for in his native France. And Luccin has the first touch on that corner click on that.
His left foot, which isn't the most conducive thing to clearing a ball at this stage of the game.
It's been a while since FC Dallas has been able to string a few passes together, but they do here last season. They spent a good chunk of time in the opening 3 months of the season on top of the Supporter Shield race.
Credit to Montreal. This last 20, it seems like they've kind of gone back into a shell here, and they haven't continued playing the way that they were comfortable in the first 65 minutes of the game.